What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review of this week's episode of the Junji Ito Collection. So yes, and I'm actually on time with this review. I'm recording this and we'll be uploading this on Friday instead of recording and uploading it on Saturday like I did last week. But we are here. The two short stories that at least I remember was that are in this episode is the Crosswalk Pretty Boy, if I remember correctly, and I forget what the other one was called. Anyway, but before we talk about this episode, there's a couple things I want to announce or just talk about. Is that, guys, yes, in case you're wondering, yes, I did play the open beta to Dragon Ball FighterZ. If you follow me on Twitter, I post a couple things about it, and I gotta say, fucking loved it. My good friend, Emmanuel, link to his channel down in the description box below, because why not? I'm a nice guy, I'm gonna give this man a shout out. Anyway, I asked him, he said that he also loved the beta, the fighting is great. I did a couple online matches, I did casually, because I'm not touching rank. Oh, no, I don't want to get my ass beat that badly. I was like, okay, if I play rank, I know I'm gonna get my ass in, because people take that shit seriously. That's when they're gay. That's when they're angry. When they get going on ultra instincts up in here. And I was like, I ain't touching that. I ain't touching that. So I just played a couple casual matches. The game crashed on me a lot. Mostly where it kind of shows right for the match shows you who your characters are versus the other person's characters. It would usually always crash there during when I did all I matches and during when I was trying to do a few tutorial missions as well. Fucking love the beta. So hyped for the game, and now you gotta say, guys, Ultimate Gohan is a fucking beast. There was a one match where I started and I was immediately doing so much damage to this guy. I walked in, I was punching and kicking, did a special, and I took him out, and I took out his first character in under a minute. I was like, goddamn, Ultimate Gohan, you a beast! This kind of makes me that much more pissed off at how much of a pussy ass bitch he's becoming Super. Heard he's gotten better in the Universal Survival Law. I'll be the judge of that. But yeah, Ultimate Gohan is a beast. He's definitely gonna be my main character when I play this game. Ultimate Gohan is a fucking beast. Yeah. The game, so yeah, the beta, fucking loved it. I did also play yesterday as well when they brought back the beta. Played one or two matches. Played a little more, just get some more footage for you guys, which I'll be using actually in my kind super reviews for the next few weeks. Because why not give some diversity and just let you guys see my fighting and just see how bad I am. Because I only watched a grand total of 2 matches. Out of all the matches I played in the beta, I only won 2. I got close a couple times to winning. But I only won 2 matches. But yeah. The beta, like I said, the beta was great. Fucking loved it. And speaking of Dragon Ball, another thing. Oh no, Emmanuel, if you're watching this video, don't ever do to me what you did to me a few days, yesterday again. Because, bro, you damn near gave me a heart attack. I was on Instagram, just scrolling through my feed. I noticed I had a notification in my DMs. It was a man. It was like, bro, I got some bad news for you. And I'm like, what? Now, by this time, I already knew about Super was ending because I saw it on Twitter all over the place. So, but I was not there. I was like, what's the bad news? He's like, bro, don't freak out like I did. I'm like, what happened? Did Hugh Jackman die or something? Bro, come on, tell me. And it took him a long time to tell me what he was saying. It took him a while, and I was like, bro, no, what happened here? Bro, you damn near giving me a heart attack. And they would both so it was like, oh yeah, I already knew about Super ending. Which I'm not surprised about, because I felt like after the Universal Survival Arc, what more can Super do without repeating Z? I mean, we've already done Future Trunks. We've done the big thing that this show has been hyping, all the universes, taking on each other in the tournament. There's not much more you can do unless you bring back Cell, but then again, you're just repeating the Resurrection of F arc. So yeah, I'm not surprised that Super's ending at episode 131, I believe, was the episode that was gonna be the last episode before Super. Or the last episode of Super before it ends. Yeah, I'm not really that surprised. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the Goku Black card tomorrow. That's going to be hype. But yeah, enough jibba jabba. Let us talk about the Junji Ito collection. Okay, so let us begin. So we start this episode off with some overhead shots of this streets or these what's the term called? These these streets are connected. It wasn't like no, that's not an intersection. Whatever. These streets. We get some more show with some saxophone music in the streets. And so we see this girl. She's kind of just chilling by one of the the areas where the roads or the streets connect with each other. I'm not a street enthusiast, so I don't know the proper terminology for this. Anyway, so she's just kind of sitting there, then we see this figure, this dude dressed in black with red lipstick and an earring, with his hands in his pocket, just walking very ominously in the fog with, I really think the art style, the artwork in this was great shit. It was some black shading around it, making it that much more ominous. And the girl puts her back in front of her face. She's like, "I'm sorry, you mind helping me? You mind telling me my fortune?" And the guy just stops and she says, "Will my love be realized?" He's like, "No, your romance will never be realized," and then just walks away. And then we get to our MC, Ryusuke, I believe his name is Ryusuke, and he's pretty much transferring back to his school in his own hometown that he's been gone for, I believe, about 8 years. And so one of the girls come up to him, Mushishi, I think her name was. No, I don't think it was Mushishi. Or something along those lines. It's like, "Hey, you remember me? I went to kindergarten with you." Which, first of all, I don't think how does anyone remember kindergarten? Because I remember fuck all from kindergarten. I don't know. I remember nothing from kindergarten. If I met someone that I knew that may have met kindergarten, I wouldn't recognize them. Because that's so long ago. Anyway, he's like, "Oh yeah, that's you, Mushishi, yeah." And then the guy reconnect, and then she introduces her best friend to him, and they tells her about the fortunes, the fortunes, on this in the street, these streets, this area of town where you can get your fortune read, blah 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 blah. And then, while they're talking, her friend also mentions to Ryusuke that, Midori-chan, which is her actual name, I looked it up just to make sure if it was Mushishi or Midori. It was something like that, but yeah, Midori, she's a popular girl at school. All the guys are all over her, And she's like, and then, when she talks about the streets, the fortune tellers that, walk in the street in this fog, he says, you shouldn't mess with that. And then we cut back to him at school, and he's and then some students at school. He's talking "Hey, this girl committed suicide after she had her fortune read, the street where they get her fortune read." It's like, "Man, her head was sliced clean off by a box cutter, man." Like, wow, man. I'm paraphrasing. They didn't actually say "wow, man." Yeah, I'm just like, you know what I mean. And so yeah, and he's over here sweating. He's sweating. He's like, "Oh shit," and then he leaves. And then after when he gets out, he's just chilling outside. He's like, "How did I end up back here? This must be punishment. I am being punished." And then we have this flashback to when he was a kid in this same intersection, which that's actually what they're called, intersection. It was slipping my mind for so long. Intersection. He's running through these roads, or these streets, I should say. And and by the way, this kid, he's wearing some short ass shorts. And when I say short ass, I mean they're damn near booty short. I was like, "Bro, can you? Why are your shorts so short?" Like, "Bro, really?" And he's running, and then there's this girl, that looks like about probably in her her 30s with anime. She could be in her 20s, or she could be 11 for all I know. Never trust your eyes with anime. Anyway, so she's like, "Hey, you'll hear me out?" He's like, "There's this guy I love." And at first I'm like, "Okay, why do you tell this to a little kid?" He looks about 12, 11, somewhere around that age range. He won't understand half what you're saying. So he's like, "There's this man I love, and but he has a wife, child." At that point I was like, "Nope, nope, 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 no, 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 nope, nope, no, 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 nope, 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 not today, not today." So I was like, "Nope, no, 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 get out of there, kid, get the fuck out." And so but you see, I am carrying child. That point I was like, "Oh hell no!" I was like, "Kid, run!" So anyway, so she's like, but he says but he's been acting so cold to me for obvious reasons. I mean, a married man would act cold to his mistress after he knows that she's pregnant. I mean, you want to make sure you get rid of all evidence. Okay. So, anyways, it's like, hey, they ask again, will my love reveals like, of course I will, baka! And then runs, and then, runs away. Then, of course, she also, slits her throat, with a box cutter. She also dies. And, and actually, one thing that's, like, actually, like, throughout this whole episode, we hear characters say, when they're like, when it's about romance, they always say, like, I love him so much that I could die. Like, every time I was like, that's foreshadowing. Clever, Junji Ito. Very clever. And so, after he ran, he actually ended up getting curious. I don't know why. So he went back to the same spot where he met her, and that's when he found her corpse. And so, then, Midori-chan catches up with him. He's like, hey, what's up, Ryusuke? You've been acting weird lately, you okay? And she also says that she has some bad memories related to these crossroads, to these crossroad fortunes. What's that mean? Ashina, Junji Ito. Oh, you play. So, she says, the girls were talking about the girl that died 8 years ago. Well, that was my aunt! And he's like, I was like, cue them violins! Oh, Junji Ito. I had me dying. I was like, oh man, that was so fucking hilarious. Yeah, have that on your conscience. And so after that massive plot twist that I'd be dying. Get it? Died. Okay, I'm done. So, after that, Midori's best friend Suzui asks her, like, hey, you're walking home, and she tells, like, I'm worried about, Ryusuke. And she's like, no, I can talk to him for you. So she, calls, so she talks to him, and asks him, like, hey, what's going on between you and Midori-chan. And he says, I shouldn't even talk to her. I shouldn't be friends, blah, blah, blah. I think we should just cut it off. And then he doesn't explain, doesn't give the reasons why, because, I mean, how do you tell your best friend's best friend that you feel responsible for your aunt's murder? Anyway, so after that revelation, she ends up going to the crossroads, to the intersections, the crossroads, to get, the crossroad fortunes. The pretty boy shows up, and she asks, like, hey, what should I do to help out my friends get back together? And he says, you should really worry about your own love life. And so after that, we see Suzui meet up with Midori-chan. And she says that, and she says, hey, I said, did you talk to Ryusuke? And she's like, yeah, he said he just wants to cut it off with you. And then she, like, she talks about, like, hey, I went to the fortunes, I went to the fortune crosswords. I asked him, hey, what should I do? And he says, I should worry about my own love life. Then she just goes balls to the wall insane. She says, hey, I got something to say, so I'm going to be I'm going to be honest with you. I've actually loved Ryusuke since they transferred here. And, she's like, and I'm so glad you two broke up, so now he's all mine. And I'm like... like, the facial expression, the voice acting was just great, just absolute greatness. And so after that, she then, just goes stalker mode, pretty much, trying to get his affection, because, she loves him so much that she could die. Okay. So, she tries, just talk, so she starts stalking him and shit, trying to get him lunch bentos. He's like, I'm good, but, she's like, oh, I just eat mine, I'll get rid of the one, I'll trash the one you got in your bag, and then, he says, I don't like you, leave me alone or I'll call the cops. And so, so then, his friends talk, so then, Ryusuke and one of his friends are talking, and one of his friends is like, hey, there's this creepy girl staring at you. Alright, and actually, one thing I almost forgot to mention, While this is all going on, she is actually, you can actually see, I don't know, I guess the flash or whatever of her face starting to decrease slowly to where you can really start seeing more and more of the outline of her skull. Like, see that you can really see, kind of like little outlines of her skull, which is as this keeps going. So then she eventually kills herself because she loves it so much she could die. And so Ryusuke takes the opportunity to then, go to these crossroads, and tell people their fortune. Tell them like, yes, it will be, it sure will be, to hopefully, I guess fix the process going on with the pretty boy, because it seems like the pretty boy is the one that's pretty much killing these girls, or at least driving them. Oh wait, actually, almost forgot. No, there's one more thing before she actually killed herself. He's walking home. She's falling behind. She's not even trying to be stealthy. She's just walking right behind him. She's not hiding behind corners or nothing. Nah, she's just right behind him. And then he, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean exactly what I said. Like, it's not like I don't like you, but I like me doing each other, so I can't be, GF with you, and then and then while there, she grabs out a box cutter. She grabs out a box cutter and then slits her throat, and blood doesn't even come out of it. It's actually just red dust, pretty much, just red dust, and then she dies. So then he goes to these crossroads and tells people their fortunes, positively saying like, yes, your love will be realized, blah 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 blah. And so after a while, he eventually meets up with the pretty boy. He tries to chase after her, but he loses him. And actually, while this is going on, while he's doing the thing while he's going to the crossroads to tell people their fortune, you can actually see that he is also kind of suffering from the same thing that she was suffering from, with I guess her skull, where you can start seeing a little bit of the outline of his skull, a little bit where some parts are like really sucking in on his face, and you can really see the outline of his skull, a little bit. And so he chases after him. Then Midori was also chasing after him pretty much, and she ends up in these crossroads. And actually, while he around the end of that part of the episode, that short story, he notices that there's actually he starts seeing the dead girls that previously killed themselves because of this, these fortunes. And so he ends up meeting the girl, Midori's aunt, and he's points her in this direction, this street, which actually leads them directly to where the incident happened, or at least he was already at the incident when he met her. I forget which one was which. Anyway. So after that, then we see Midori. She's like, where am I? Blah blah blah. And then she sees the pretty boy, and she's like, I'm not here for my fortune. I'm not here for my fortune. And while he's walking up closer and closer and closer, Ryusuke catches up to her, puts his hand on her shoulder, and then she's like, hey, what are you doing here? And then the smoke is completely gone. Poof! It is gone completely. Completely gone. The smoke's no longer not the smoke. The fog is no longer there, and that's where his short story ends. Then that leads us to the second short story that didn't really get much time. It's about, and I forget what it was called, but I forget what it was called, but we started off with these girls, with this girl. She comes home to meet, to check on one of her friends. And one thing about this short story that I actually kind of liked is that actually when Crunchyroll did the subtitles, they actually when one of the characters has her mouth covered or by her arms or something, and instead of sometimes it's yo, leave me alone, it sounds like what sounds like, say, if you did actually have your arms covered, had mouth in your food, or you had food in your mouth. It comes oh, don't leave me alone, it's actually spelled out it's oh, that's a nice little touch there, Crunchyroll. Yeah, I like that you did that. So yeah, she meets up with her friend. Her parents are busy killing slugs by stomping on them, throwing salt up, and he is Mob Psycho 100 being salt splash. Anyway, I need to hurry up in this because this video's getting way too damn long for a review. So then she checks on the friend. She ends up having a slug in her mouth, a huge ass slug. In her mouth, so they fill the bathtub with salt, put her in there. She ends up getting decapitated. Well, her body ends up shrinking to where it's just her head. The slug comes out of her mouth and uses her head pretty much as the shell snails you. So yeah, guys, that's where that short story. And yeah, once again, another fantastic episode. Hyped to see next week's episode for the Junji Ito collection. So my final verdict for this week's episode is a 9 out of 10. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram for I feel like links in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time. Also, apologies for how long this video was. I did not expect this video to be 20 minutes long, but I guess I talked about Dragon Ball Super way too damn much.